In the late 90s, a terrifying crime wave swept across southeastern Nigeria. Armed robbers and violent gangs ruled the streets, striking fear into the hearts of traders and residents. Desperate and frustrated, a group of men decided to take matters into their own hands. This is the story of the Bakassi Boys, a vigilante group that rose to power, cleansed the streets, but eventually became a menace themselves. It all began in 1999 in the bustling commercial city of Aba, Abia State, the famous Area International Market, a hub of trade and economic activity, was drowning in fear. Traders who worked tirelessly from dawn to dusk lived under the constant shadow of terror. Armed robbers ruled the streets, striking at will, leaving trails of blood and sorrow in their wake. Money hard earned through sweat and sacrifice vanished in an instant. Lives were snuffed out without consequence. The police, the supposed protectors of the people, were either complicit or powerless, some turning a blind eye, others actively conspiring with the criminals. The people had had enough. Determined to reclaim their city, a group of traders from the Power Line and Bakassi Line section of the Area International Market made a bold decision. They would no longer wait for the government or the police to save them. If justice would not be served through the law, then it would be served by their own hands. And so, from the ashes of helplessness, the Bakassi Boys were born. They were no ordinary vigilantes. They did not come with guns or sophisticated weaponry. Instead, they armed themselves with machetes, axes, and clubs, and an unwavering thirst for justice. But what truly set them apart was their belief in supernatural powers. Through rituals and incantation, they claimed the ability to detect criminals simply by touching them. A single stroke of their machete and the guilty will be exposed, their flesh mysteriously slashed open, as though the very gods were marking them for judgment. Their method was swift and brutal. No trials, no second chances. Once marked, the accused met an immediate and gruesome end. Sometimes they were beheaded in public. Other times, their bodies were set ablaze in the streets, a warning to all who dared to prey upon the innocent. Within weeks, Aba transformed. Crime rates plummeted. Criminals either fled or faced the wrath of the Bakassi Boys. The people, long tormented by fear, now walked with renewed confidence. Market flourished. Homes became safe again, and the once chaotic city found order. The Bakassi Boys were hailed as heroes. But their fame did not stop in Aba. Soon, their legend spread beyond the borders of Abia State. At the dawn of a new millennium, in the year 2000, Anambra State found itself in the grip of an even deadlier crime wave. Robbery, murder, and cult violence had escalated to unimaginable levels. The streets belonged to notorious criminals like Edina Nogo, Chiejine, and the infamous Derrick Nwamama. Even the police trembled before them. The people lived in terror, afraid to step outside. After sunset, something had to be done. Desperate, the Anambra State government extended an invitation to the Bakassi Boys. They arrived like an unstoppable storm, sweeping through the state with unrelenting fury. Within weeks, they captured and publicly executed Derrick Nwamama, the most feared criminal of the time. The people rejoiced, hailed them as divine warriors sent to cleanse their land. For the first time in years, families slept with their doors unlocked. Fear faded and peace returned. The Bakassi Boys had proven that even when the system failed, the people could take justice into their own hands. But power, once tasted, is hard to relinquish. And soon, the line between justice and tyranny became a problem. At first, the Bakassi Boys were saviors. Their arrival brought a sense of order, their presence a deterrent to criminals. But as time passed, their power grew unchecked. Their influence expanded beyond the fight against crime. They were no longer just vigilantes. They had become the law. And when one man holds the power to decide who lives and who dies, corruption is inevitable. Their method, once seen as necessary, became excessive. It started subtly, settling dispute between traders, enforcing debt repayment. Then they took it further. Husbands accused of infidelity found themselves flogged in public. Rivals in business disappeared overnight. Political enemies were targeted under the guise of crime fighting. Innocent people wrongly accused faced a brutal execution without a chance to defend themselves. Fear returned, but this time it was the Bakassi Boys the people feared. The Nigerian government, led by President Olusegun Obasanjo, grew weary. A group with such a power, unregulated and unanswerable to anyone, was a threat to national security. Governor Chinwoke Mbadinuju, who had initially supported them, found himself under immense pressure to rein them in. Then came the breaking point. In 2002, the gruesome murder of Barrister Igwe and his pregnant wife sent shockwaves through the nation. The once celebrated vigilantes, known as Bakassi Boys, were now seen as ruthless executioners. Protests erupted. The media turned against them. The public opinion shifted. What had once been a movement for justice had become a monster beyond control. The federal government intervened, and by 2003, the Bakassi Boys were officially outlawed. Many members went underground. Others were hunted down, arrested, or killed. The streets they once patrolled fell silent, but their legacy lingered in whispers and shadows. Yet, with their disbandment came an ironic twist. Crime, once kept at bay by the brutal methods, surged once more. Kidnapping, armed robberies, and court violence crept back into the southeast. And so, a question lingers in the minds of many. Was the disbandment of the Bakassi Boys a necessary move or a grave mistake? Their story remains one of controversy, a tale of heroes who became villains, of justice turned tyranny, of a people who in their darkest hour took matters into their own hands. Thank you so much for watching this video on Frank Speaks on the rise and fall of the Bakassi Boys in southeastern Nigeria. Do let us know what you think about the reign and time of the Bakassi Boys. But before you leave, do well to like this video, hit the notification bell, and also subscribe and check out some other videos existing on this channel.